Hi again. As I mentioned, I had the option when I picked up the kit car to either go the donor car route or buy the complete kit. Factory 5, when they first opened their doors, built their business model around offering a kit car that was based on, had its own chassis and body, but had a lot of running components from a contemporary Mustang. The idea was a Mustang was inexpensive to own and buy. A lot of folks had them or had them for sale. They're available on the market used. Some of them would be crashed and available even cheaper. But the beauty was a lot of the components were standard, common, and robust. Generally performance-orientated pieces. So for a 5-liter Mustang, GT typically, would have drivetrain, have suspension components, steering components, and brake systems that would be ideal to put on a kit car. So that was their initial business model. As time went on and the years rolled on, customers would call and approach them about offering a complete kit, where you get the same kit that the donor car folks would get, but you get upgraded components over Mustang, because quite honestly, people can buy upgraded components for a Mustang that are far superior to the original stock pieces. Take those pieces and also use it on a kit. So Factory 5 developed what they referred to as the complete kit. And the complete kit gives you everything except for the drivetrain. That's essentially the way I'm going. They still offer the donor kit option, but they offer, and it's become more popular, a complete kit option. That's what I opted to take. Additionally, even with a complete kit, you don't get any of the drivetrain. That's something you have to source yourself. And the drivetrain includes the engine, transmission, and the rear end, and the drive shaft in between. So those things you have to source yourself. I'm sourcing all new components, including the engine here behind me. This engine, as mentioned, is a 347 stroker, or 347 Ford small block. Okay, so a small block, it's the only block this particular kit can take is a Ford small block, unless you modify it. But the Ford small block can be bored out to 427 cubic inches if you want, or it can be purchased in straight 289 format, like the original cars, or 302. 302 Fords are very common, and they're relatively inexpensive, although they're significantly more expensive than a Chevy small block to buy in a crate, for example. This particular one is a 302 block with a 351 crank to give it 347 cubic inches. The output of this engine is about 408 foot-pounds peak, the torque output, and the horsepower output, I believe, is about 430 horsepower. So 430 horsepower is significantly more than the original car. The original car was somewhere just south of 300. But to go the extra 130 horsepower, basically the only reason I did it wasn't that much more expensive than a stock 302. There are some folks online that have gone with 500 and 600 horsepower engines. The problem with a 500 or 600 horsepower engine in a car that weighs 2,300 pounds is that you easily overwhelm the tires in acceleration, in any gear. And it's much more difficult to drive aggressively because you're in corners in particular, you feather the throttle. I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon for the tail end of the car to sweep out on you, even with large aggressive tires. These cars I'm aware of, my car definitely doesn't have any sort of electronic traction control and stability control systems. It's completely analog. And being analog, it all relies on my skill. I have taken 4 racing courses or aggressive sport driving courses, but I could easily overwhelm the little skill I have with too much horsepower. So 430 is still a lot, and probably more than I will need. But 600 and 700 horsepower is just crazy. So anyway, I got my engine here. It's going to sit in the corner in this dry garage for the next couple months probably. I made a mistake of trying to undo one of the spark plugs to fog the engine for storage, and I broke one of the spark plugs off on the. It's not bad. It's just a ceramic tip I broke off, so I'll replace that this week probably. I've taped up all of the exhaust ports to keep as much air out as possible, and I've also ran a sheet of tape around the breather just to reduce airflow. Sprayed the whole thing down with WD-40, covered off the holes and pinches, and put it in the corner here. When the transmission arrives, I'll hook that up to the bell housing, put the clutch on it, and then keep the two of them side by side here until I'm ready to put them in, at which time I'll bolt them together and put them into the chassis. I have a cherry picker to lift this whole chute match up. This engine weighs about 550 pounds, so it's not light. It's a cast iron block. All forged internals, roller block, Edelbrock performer heads, RPM performer heads, and Edelbrock carb. Pretty standard stuff. Anyway, keep watching.